All right, everybody. It's a broadcast of the Ebony Star Network, sponsored by the E Nation. Well, lately, we've had a big debate. Shout out to brother Taz and Jabari over there, Sonetta's big platform. A very interesting debate. It's about an African connection. A lot of interesting things were said. If you ask me who won the debate, at first, I couldn't really call it. I thought maybe Jabari edged them out. But then, the more I looked at the debate, I'm gonna go with Taz. I say Taz won that debate hands down. Made a lot of powerful points. I thought Jabari was gaslighting and preaching and shit. But anyway, we're gonna have our own discussion about Africa in the Black American, because I've talked about this before. I don't think that we are culturally the same. If anything, I think that we are a new breed of African. And I'll talk about that here on Gangster Talk, and we'll get into that discussion. It's Gangster Talk up right now. Okay, Abby, drop it. All right. What's going on? Stone Boy, everybody. One of my favorite African artists. You know, he's an African brother that actually sings in patois, like he's a Jamaican. So him, Shaka. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the other one's name. Shatta Wale. Um, yeah, Africa got some hard artists, man. I'm really starting to get into African music, man. They got some hard hitting people over there. I
No,
don't sleep on them, huh?
okay, Black Knight, you made a mistake. His name is Stone Boy.
Stone Boy,
Yeah,
Stone
it's not
Boy and
Shatawale.
Shatta Wale, right?
Shatawale, yeah. Yeah,
No,
Stone Boy
Stone
and
Boy and the
Shatawale.
other guy Shatta Wale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh huh. Yeah, so that's my African sister right there. Well, actually, that's my little adopted daughter right there. Everybody, that's my little adopted daughter, Albina. Say hello to the people.
Hey, hello everyone.
Albina.
Hello everyone.
And everybody know that she is an authentic African woman. She lives in Ghana. She's in Ghana right now producing this show, and she's cooking at the same time. So we're gonna have this African discussion. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, I learned more from her than I've ever learned in any damn history book over here. See, when you talk to Africans like I do, you really get to learn what's really going on in Africa. Not that bullshit they're talking about over in the conscious community. A lot of the people in the conscious community don't know shit about Africa, including Jabari, and I hope he hears that. You don't know shit about Africa either. There's more countries in Africa than Egypt or Kemet. Okay? Don't even get me started on that dude, man. Now, let me tell you something. The big debate went down between Jabari and Taz, okay? Yeah, I get it and everything. Uh, Wait a minute. I'm frozen already? Hold on. Let me see if I can get myself started again. Oh, I'm
Okay, we
frozen.
can hear you.
Okay, hold on, Abby. Let me go in and come back out.
Okay. Yeah, hey brother. Yeah, it's true about Jabari and Charles. Okay, I don't know if Charles. Yeah, that is a Charles. Yeah, we hear about him talking about Africa. But I would wish like okay, this has to be explained by most of African. They know much about Africa and they can explain much better than someone living in America explaining most about Africa. You understand? So I wish like we're gonna have more African explaining it to them so that they'll get to know and know much about Africa. Not okay, you might know the history, you might read about it, but you have to explain it or you have to talk about you're talking about one side of Africa. Africa is a huge continent. It's a huge. So if you're talking about Africa, you have to talk about other countries in Africa, not one side of
Yeah,
Africa.
I'm back. Nah, Mother Clerk, Mother Twerks. It's not that we're battling each other. We're just trying to figure it out. Like, okay, I think Jabari tried to put Taz on the spot about the Black American, but the Black American is really the offspring of the ancestors that came from Africa who were enslaved. And they gave so many generations. They gave birth to us, and generation after generation after generation, and then here we are. And so, all right. At first, when I heard the debate, when I watched it, you can be in the heat of the moment because it was a very powerful debate. And at first, I thought maybe Jabari may have edged them out because Jabari's a tough customer. But then the more I got a chance to sit down and really listen to the debate by myself, take the emotions out of it and whatever, Taz won that debate and he won it going away. Jabari is nothing but a gaslighter and a preacher, and he tried to personally attack the man, try to make the man out to be a hater of the continent and he was some kind of monster. I mean, I thought that was ridiculous. And a lot of gaslighting going on with Jabari, less facts. You don't really listen. Jabari don't really listen. I've been in the cons community for a long time before I came over here. Those guys are very good at pulling scams. Okay, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and glorified Egypt history to make you think that there's some kind of good thing going on over there in Kemet that you need to go running back to. But if you really ask these guys, right, Jabari included, there's no way that they can connect you to anybody in Kemet. See, that's the conversation that they won't have. When you step to these dudes and be like, okay, how are we connected to the people in Kemet who built the pyramids so many years ago? Well, we black. Well, that doesn't cut it. How do you, excuse me, can you connect our bloodlines to anybody who came out of Kemet? No, you can't. So where's the damn connection? There's really no connection to us and the people in Kemet. They're selling you a bill of goods. They're pretty much selling you the Brooklyn Bridge, and you're buying it because they got a setup over there that they worked hard and grooming the mentality over there, and people who are caught up in that nonsense really believe everything that they're saying. So they pretty much built themselves a market over there to where they can, spew this bullshit and get paid for doing it. And a lot of that went on in the debate. It's the same old shit I've been hearing them say for a long time. Nothing different. And then you have to understand, Taz was really up against it. It's a monstrous, and I mean a monstrous biased environment over there. So there was a lot he had to go up against. A very biased audience, biased situation between Sarnetta and Jabari, because Sarnetta is not going to let his golden goose lose. Can you imagine what would have happened if Taz would have won over there? That would have fucked up his golden goose. Because he already lost Polite over there, right? So Jabari is the guy that brings him all of his money. So you can't have Jabari lose to Taz because Taz is not a part of the conscious community. And then you can't control Taz because Taz is his own man. He's not going to let you control him. So he wouldn't have had no control over Taz. So he has complete control over Jabari because Jabari is a sucker, right? And so, and Jabari's a weak dude, man. Okay, I watched Zion Lex punk that dude out in his own house on camera. Okay, you're not gonna come in my house where my wife lay and punk me out. Okay, so Jabari's soft, man, and Sarnetta has control over him. Okay, Taz is a grown ass man. He ain't gonna let nobody control him. He gonna be his own man, and so that doesn't fit in with what Sarnetta wants to do. So they couldn't let Taz win that debate, or a disaster would have struck. But if you ask me who won the debate, no problem. I'll give it to Taz all day long. I thought Jabari was full of shit, a lot of gaslighting, a lot of personal attacks. He kept talking about Taz with the personal attacks. He has serious personal attacks himself. That whole shit about, he a messed up brother and how did he get so turned around? And, now he got to stick the knife in and turn it. What the fuck was that all about? I thought that was some fucked up shit. The fuck do you think? What are you saying? What are you saying, that this man is an animal? He's a dog that got to be put out of his misery? Did anybody catch that? I can't be the only one that caught that. I remember it as if it was a. He said it. He said, "Man, this man is so messed up. He's so hurt. He's so gone, and and I got to be the one to stick the knife in and turn it, like he's an animal that he got to put out of his misery." I thought that was fucked up. That pissed me off from the door. So, no, I mean, a lot of gaslight, a lot of bullshit. And then he was wrong on Marcus Garvey. Taz was absolutely right on Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had never set foot in Africa. Okay? You want to talk about, and then he had the nerve to say, well, Taz says things a lot of, that are factually incorrect and tripping about sources. Nigga, you didn't even double check the source that you read from the BBC and how the article was misquoted from the way it was written. You didn't even double check that. Had you double checked that, you wouldn't have said that bullshit. Jabari was wrong about Marcus Garvey, and Taz was right. Okay? Now, and then Jabari want to talk about some, well, Garvey wasn't a scammer because the FBI was investigating him. Well, the FBI was investigating a lot of people back then. They was investigating Garvey, X. They was investigating King. They was investigating a lot of people. Stokely Carmichael. A lot of people was getting investigated. If you were a black person that spoke out against injustices back then, you were targeted by them. If you even sound as if you can rally 2 or 3 Negroes together, the FBI was on your ass. So just because the FBI was, targeting Garvey doesn't mean he wasn't a scammer. And all this Marcus Messiah Garvey bullshit. Hey man, see, this is why I'm siding with Taz, because what are you niggas doing today, man? All this fucking nigga worship. Marcus Messiah Garvey. The fuck are y'all talking about, man? Why y'all always putting these extra titles on niggas? All these grandiose, over the top fucking titles and shit. Nah, I like the way Taz presented that debate. It was a powerful debate, man. Powerful debate. And, I like the fact that he talked about what we're going to do. Exactly. What are we going to do over here? What are we going to do something about ourselves over here? See, to me, the conscious community is in line with white supremacy because they try to distract black people from dealing with who they are over here, from dealing with who we are over here. This Naga want to take you to like the farthest fucking edges of Africa, all the way down there in Egypt and Kemet. Know how far that is from America? Come on, man. I mean, really? And then you can't really connect us to Kemet. Everybody keep talking about some damn we. We who? So all this damn we. See, you know what? They get you so caught up in all this intellectualism, right? They get you caught up in all this so-called scholarship, right? But, and it makes you blind to common sense. You don't use your common sense. Does our bloodline really go all the way back to Kemet? I doubt it. Can it really make some connection to us and the people in Kemet or Egypt, the ones who built the pyramids? All this, we built this. I mean, first of all, we haven't built shit. We are not those people. Now, we can still say that we are African because we have African blood running through our veins. I don't think that's something that's ever going to go away, right? We have African blood, running through our veins. But culturally, we are a completely different people. We are so far removed from the culture of our ancestors to the point that we have become a completely different people. We are nothing like Africans culturally. Nothing. There's nothing cultural about us that's even remotely the same. Now, I'm pretty sure Brother Jabari will run his mouth about, well, my brother, that's not right. Not right. We were wearing kufis and unks and shit. And don't you see the niggas wearing kufis and unks? Look, man, that shit that's going on in the conscious community is. But I've been. Listen, y'all need to go back to some of my podcasts where I was just shitting on the conscious community. I used to be over there. They're scam artists. Why do you think all they fucking do is debate religion and history? They don't give a damn about what's going on over here in this country with black people. They could care less. And when it came down to that, Jabari really couldn't handle it, man. Really couldn't handle it. We're Black American. What makes what's black? What's black is that we are, we are the offspring of our, African ancestors. That's what makes us black. What makes us American is the land that we were born in. We were born here in America. I wasn't born in Africa. I'm not shitting on Africa, but I wasn't born there. Yes, I have blood ties to Africa, but my people are the people that was born here in this country with me. And even Africans will tell you, right? Be loyal to your people first. So if we went back to Africa and they saw that we wasn't loyal or united, do you think that they would accept us? Do you think that they would accept us or straighten us out? Okay. Abby, you got a minute? Come in here for a second. Can you talk real quick or you cooking? Let me see if Abby's paying attention. I want to ask her a question.
Okay, I'm here.
Abby, let me ask you a question. Now, you're an African. I'm a Black American. Now, we know we have blood ties, right?
Right.
But aren't the people here that was born with me here, aren't those my people?
They are your people.
So how you feel about it? Don't you feel that right, like we are a people, and if we came to Africa and we're disjointed, like we're not united, we're not together, what would you tell us?
Okay, straightforward, I'll tell you, go and be united with your people before you come to us.
There you go, people. And this is an authentic African telling you. This is a Ghanaian. Did you hear what she just said? Go be united with your people before you come to Africa. Thanks, Abby.
Um,
You just heard it from a real African, not from fucking phony ass Jabari, who's trying to fucking sell wolf tickets and make as much money as he can off of Kemet. You just heard it from a real African. She said, unite with your people first. So so the Black Americans here, that's my people. Okay, so what is a Black American? Black, we get our blackness from our African ancestry. That's where we get our blackness from. That's what makes us black, or melanated, or dark complected, or whatever. What makes us American is the country that we're born in. Now, I understand a lot of y'all don't want to hear that because you're caught up in the African thing, but this is who we are. This is if you want to call us an African, I would say that we are a new breed of African. A new breed of African that the continent isn't familiar with yet. and that we will have to go back to the continent and be retrained in African culture because we are so far removed from African culture that we are altogether a different people. I was talking to Abby about this right before we came on the show. Culturally, we're not the same. And if she was to come to America, if she did not recognize us by blood, if she did not know the information she knew that we are related by blood, she wouldn't think we were African. Because there's nothing about us that is culturally African. Wrong about what, Malcolm Cooper? Lay it on me. Tell me what I'm wrong about. So, matter of fact, Abby, drop the link. I want to make this an open discussion. Yeah, because I would love to get into it. Make this an open discussion. You know. Yeah, the FBI investigated Bob Dylan too. Bob Marley too. Yeah, so saying Garvey was investigated by the damn FBI. So what? That don't mean anything. That doesn't mean that he wasn't scamming people. And if he was scamming, they wouldn't have gave a fuck anyway because he was scamming black people. Hell, they found out he was scamming black people, they wouldn't have stopped him. Talking about, well, Garvey was the target of the FBI, and a lot of black people was the target of the FBI back then. If I lived back then and I came out and said, black people, we need to unite, and I got 5 black people listening to me, the FBI would have been targeting me too. I'm wrong by saying we're not the same people. Explain to me how we're the same people, bro. Matter of fact, you can come on up here. I got the link. I'd love to have that conversation because I have an African with me. We're not the same people. Culturally, we're not. Blood, we have blood ties to Africa because of our ancestry, but we are so far removed from our original African culture, dude, it ain't even funny. We are far and away a different people. We're not culturally the same at all. We don't have it, man. When I talk to Abby and we talk about Africa, man, they are super rich in tradition and all kinds of culture. Man, we don't even come close. It's not even close. I mean, they are so super rich in culture and tradition. It's ridiculous, man. We're not even close. We are so far removed from the culture of our ancestors that we are far and away a different people. And since you are disagreeing with that, I would love for you to hit that link and come on up here so we can have the discussion. I'm down with the shits today. Let's have the discussion. Come on up. Tell me how we the same people. I'm dying to hear that one. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I was born in this country. I'm not African like that. I'm not an African who was born. I'm an African by blood, but I'm not a traditional and cultural African. I'm not. I am what I am when I was born as in this country. I get my blackness from my ancestors, but my roots come from this country. Okay? What's up, Phoenix Jane? But my roots come from this country, and we have to stop being afraid to talk about that. Everybody's scared. Everybody's scared. What, y'all all spooked by Jabari's old fucking scamming ass? What, you afraid to say it because Jabari is going to say something about you? Man, fuck them dudes over in the conscious community. They ain't nothing but scam artists anyway. We got to stop being afraid to speak out about who we are. Saying that we are not African is not disrespecting our African heritage, our African ancestry. Yes, we are, Africans by blood, but we are not culturally African. And let me tell you something. If you don't think culture makes a difference, you are sadly mistaken. Man, I got into a confrontation with an African over a saying over here in America that means one thing to us, but means something completely different to them. And it wasn't good. Okay, so if you don't think culture makes all the difference, then you are sadly mistaken. I don't give a damn how many scholars you listen to. I don't care how much of that overgrown, intellectually bloated shit Jabari blows out of his ass. Culture makes all the difference, even over bloodline. You have to have the culture. Culturally, we are not African. We are just African by blood. And that gives us the right to go back to the motherland and be taught. We still have to be taught African culture. Why? Because we're not culturally African. We don't know the traditions and customs in Africa. We don't know how to go about Africa without offending our African sisters and brothers. We don't know what the traditions are in everyday going ons in Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Togo, Senegal, Somalia, Uganda, Eastern Africa. We don't know. We don't know the lands. Most Africans have a natural knowledge of herbs and how to use herbs. I was talking to Abby the other day. Do you know that they have like a natural knowledge about herbs that we don't have? Do you know the average African know how to heal sicknesses? They know how to heal sicknesses with herbs. They have a natural understanding that they grew up with in their culture about herbs. They know how to pick the herbs. They know how to grind the herbs and turn the herbs into herbal medicine. This is almost common knowledge through Africa. Do you know that they have a strong knowledge of biology and health and nutrition and how to eat and all that? There's a lot of stuff that they have naturally that we don't have. We have to learn. Okay? Exactly. Hassan, we are culturally American. We're Black Americans. Where we get our black, what is a Black American? A Black American of is the offspring of our ancestors, and we are native to this land. That's what a Black American is. We are the offspring of our African ancestors. That's what gives us our blackness, our melanin. But we was born in this country, so we are native to this land. So that's what makes us American. And listen, I get it. I know some of us don't even want to hear that. I know some of us don't want that term, but that's who we are. But you keep letting guys in the conscious community tell you other shit. Right, because culturally we're not Phoenix, Gene. It's not that we're hating on Africans. Okay? We're not. We can't be something that we're not. And I'm telling you right now, okay? Culture is a huge difference. You cannot go to Africa calling yourself an African and you don't know a damn thing about African culture. Matter of fact, let me see if Abby's still available. I know she's cooking. Abby, you still there? Let's see if she
Yes,
can
I'm
come in for a
here.
minute. Let me ask you another question, Abby.
I'm here.
So, if you take it, okay, if you take a black American comes over there and they say, well, you know what, I'm African. Okay, he's partially right, right? Because he's African by blood, but he doesn't know or understand any of the culture or any of the traditions. Does that make him a real African?
It doesn't make him real because he don't know some of the he don't know the culture and stuff. Only thing
Hmm.
that he know is about he being by blood.
Right, right. And now,
So he
doesn't
have to learn.
culture, uh huh, and so culture will make him more of a. Now he probably won't be a native African because he wasn't born there, but if he learns the culture, then he will be more accepted as a real African, right?
Right, because then he know the
Right,
culture.
right. So see, people, again, we're talking to a real African. We're not scamming with no fucking sonetta in them. See, we have a real African talking. See, they won't have no Africans over there talking, okay? Because the Africans will blow their shit up over there. And and expose them for the scam as they are. And then they won't be having their little goddamn trips back and forth to fucking Kemet, scamming people for money. All right, thanks, Abby. And so you just heard it from the African. You have to know the culture. Yes, do the Africans believe that we are African by blood? Yes, they do. But are we real authentic Africans? No, we're not. We have to go to the continent and be taught the culture before we are accepted in Africa as Africans. If you go to Africa now, they have names for you that separate you from them. Matter of fact, let me bring Abby back in there. Abby, let's see if she's 'cause I know she's cooking. Let's see if she can come back in real quick. Okay. Abby, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Let me ask you a question now. When an African American come from America to Africa, okay? Now y'all know he's not a real African, but y'all know he has African descent. What are the names that y'all call the African Americans? Because there are identifiers that are separators, right? That separate us from you. Now I know jabroni is what? Jabroni is what, a white person?
Yeah, Obroni.
Obroni, right?
Right.
Now, what? Right. So, what are some of the identifiers that they call Black Americans to establish that we are different than they are? What are some of the names they call us?
Okay. Sometimes they call you Obroni, they call you Akata. It depends on the country that you be. Like for instance, when you're in
Hmm.
Ghana, we call you Obroni because we are not calling you Obroni because you are a white person, but we're calling you because you are Black American. And instead of we
Okay.
using the burger for you, we're using the
Uh huh.
Obroni. Yeah, we
Right.
have
And
the
so, uh huh. So you're calling me Obroni because I'm a Black American, right?
right.
Okay. Now, what do you call another Ghanaian?
Okay, another Ghanaian who have been to the state or who is here
No, no,
in
no,
the
no,
Ghana.
no. A Ghanaian that's born in your country with you.
Or I will call him by his name, or I'll call him brother
Hmm.
or
Will you
sister.
call him Obroni?
No,
Why?
because he's here with me and he
Exactly.
does.
Exactly. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Y'all heard that? That's powerful evidence. See, if you was to go to Africa right now, depending on what country you're in, they will call you Obroni. They will not call you by your name. They will not call you African. Why? You were not born there. You did not grow up with them. You're not African like them. They will call you Obroni as to separate you from them. Wait a minute. Hey, Abby, one more thing.
I'm here.
Did you say Akata too?
Yeah, Akata. That one it depends on the. I think Akata is from Nigerian people use Akata or something.
Yeah, what's Akata? What does that mean?
Okay, it's like the way we use Obroni in Ghana. It's the
Uh-huh.
same meaning.
Okay,
It's the
okay,
same.
so okay, okay. Thanks. Okay, so you just heard it from an authentic African, not some fake conscious community person, a real African who's in Ghana right now live telling you if you was to go to Africa right now, you would be called either Akata or Obroni, which is an identifier that separates you from them. Excuse me. I'm a little bit under the weather. Which separates you from them. Okay? And you got people over there in the conscious community trying to tell you, well, you're African. Yes, in a sense you are, blood wise, but not cultural wise. And I'm trying to tell you what they won't tell you over there. Culture is a huge difference. You need the culture. In order for them to call you brother and accept you as the real African, you need the culture. You just can't go running over there talking about I'm African. Everybody look at me and accept me for who I am. I'm an African. Well, they may humor you a little bit and say, okay, this jabroni, this Obroni don't know what the hell he's talking about, but let's try to teach him any old way. See, Abby would do that. Abby would hear you talking crazy like that, and she'd be like, okay, he's an Obroni and don't even know it. But let me try to teach him because I know he's still my of my African bloodline. So Abby is good hearted and would do that. But some Africans probably won't. Some Africans will probably look at you like you stupid. You know? Coming over there all wild and crazy, talking shit. I'm an African when you don't know the culture. That's how you get yourself in trouble and shit. Know what I'm saying? You don't know the culture. And you need the culture. This is what Jabari don't tell you. You just got you going on field trips over there to fucking Kemet so you can make money off of you. Get anybody talking about some wow Kemet. Man, let me tell you something, man. Ain't shit going on in Kemet except Kemet. They done did such a masterful job building Kemet up to be some damn wonderland, and you're gonna be Alice in Wonderland when you get there. Ain't shit going on in Kemet, bro. Now you want to know about Africa? We got real African people here at the Ebony Star Network. Okay, we got real Africans. Okay, and the shit that they're talking about the conscious community, they don't talk no shit about that. They don't even know shit about Africa. Kemet is not Africa. Kemet is just another country or just another country in Africa. It is not the entire continent of Africa. Do you even know what's going on? They don't even know what's going on in Africa. Let's start with the employment system in Africa. You'll never hear Jabari and them talk about the employment system in Africa because if they did, if they really gave a fuck about Africans, they would be fucking going crazy about the employment system. I bullshit you not. If you were Javari, if you're listening, if you were really on it, like you say you on it about African people, and you love your African people, then how come you're not talking about the employment system in Africa, which is fucked up, which pretty much makes Africans modern day slaves? I mean, since they're your African brothers and sisters and all, shouldn't you be upset that they're being treated like modern day slaves, working 30 days at a time and making? Wait a minute. Abby, come here for a second when you get a chance. I love it, man. We got real African people. This ain't no, but we got authentic Africans here. Okay? We ain't bullshit. Okay? I wish I had Shaka Bulin on here with me. We got real Africans in the Ebony Star Network, baby. Not some fake ass conscious niggas who sit up here and and feed you a bunch of bloated bullshit about African history that ain't even a quarter of the goddamn history. And they didn't even tell you all of the shit about what's going on in Kemet. Just tell you the shit that they want to tell you. So they can walk around and they goddamn African kufis and African regalia and sport they fucking unks and shit. Ain't telling you no real shit. Hold on, let me see with Abby because I know she's cooking. Abby.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, Abby. We're talking about the employment system. We're just gonna do Ghana for right now, y'all. Abby, what is the average pay that a Ghanaian makes on a job?
Okay, the average pay that the Ghanaians be making at a job is 300 Ghana cedis, which is
That
equivalent.
that's a month, right?
Yeah, that is a month.
And that's it. I think that's about $50, right?
Yeah, $50.
$50, people. Imagine working 30 days for $50. And Abby, tell them what happens sometime when you're waiting to get your check at the end of the month.
Okay, this is what happens when I was working at the Lavadi Beach and I was waiting for my check. The end of the month, they never pay us, and then they tell us that we should wait till the next month. So I said, okay, I will be waiting. So we waiting to the middle of the next month instead of them to give us the ending of the month. They carry forward our money to the next month, and that is what mostly it been happening over here. The carry forward pay.
And so Abby, tell us also why you're with now you didn't get paid that 1 month, so now you're waiting for your check the next month. Tell them, don't you still have to go to work?
Whilst I'm waiting, I'm still we're going to work.
Exactly,
I
you're
still
still working, right?
Yeah, if you're not working, you are not going to still get to the money, so you still have to work.
Exactly. And
The
so
money has to
it's
be
so
forward for you.
right. And so if you was counting on that check to put food on your table, now you got to somehow make it another month to get paid so you can put food on your table, right? Abby?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay, thanks, babe. Now you see, this is the real shit that's going on in Africa. The average person in Ghana makes $50 a month, and sometimes it's a goddamn gamble. They got to work another whole month to get $50. Now, if you really down and you really care about Africans and they're your African brothers and sisters and all, and why aren't you speaking out about the employment system that treats them like modern day slaves? I'll tell you, because they don't give a fuck about Africa. They're just using Africa to exploit ignorant black people. They don't give a shit about Africa or the Africans that are in it. Who is this? Oh, Psycho. What's going on, Psycho? Jump on
What's
in.
going on? What's going
What's
on?
going on?
Colin. I'm just listening, trying to understand what's going on. What's this stream about? Really, I saw the title. Can I get some
Um,
clarity? What you was getting at?
yeah, man. I sparked it. This is like a spin-off conversation from the debate. um, from the African connection versus what Taz said to Jabari. I'm really jumping on Jabari about being full of shit and not really being the man that he said he was about Africa, the African historian. And we're breaking down certain things that go on in Africa that they don't talk about over there. And the more I listen to that debate, I kind of understand better now where Taz is coming from. Because when you look at us being black people, where do we get our blackness from? We get our blackness from our ancestors who came over here as slaves because we're their offspring. So they say. Now, where do we get our
Wait. Let's stop right there. What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean? So they say. What do you mean by that?
So they said that our ancestors come from Africa. Okay.
Right. You don't believe it?
I do. I don't think we came from everywhere. I don't believe we came out of Kemet.
Oh, that's a different topic. I'm just saying Africa in general, the continent.
Yes. I do believe we come from parts of Africa. Okay. And I believe that's where we get our blackness from, right? But we were born here in this land, in this country. That's what makes us American. And then we're so many generations removed from our African ancestors' culture that we are far and away a different people. We're not Africans cultural-wise. We're just not. We're not the same people.
No, I'm not. Well, you can say Jersey people ain't the same culturally as New Orleans blacks. Are they not? Are we not the same? Are we not the same people as blacks in New Orleans?
We're black, but culturally we're different.
Right, but we still black though, right? We still all black.
Right. Definitely. I'm not saying that we're not African as far as blood. Okay, we are. But if we went back to the continent now, they would not recognize us as Africans. Okay.
No, the people on the continent. No, we'll be Americans, right?
Right. Well, they got names for us. They got Obroni. Okay.
Well, they got derogatory names for us, Akata and all this stuff. Yeah.
Right. So they would call us Obroni. They would call us Akata. I thought Akata means cotton picker, but
it's animal. She's more like wild animal or something like that.
Well, she just said it just meant American. Abby's in Ghana right now. So I got her right here with us because she's in Ghana right now. And so this is what I'm saying, right? So on this part, I'm with Taz 100% because we're not culturally African.
I don't think nobody was making that claim. Yeah, I don't think nobody. Yeah, it's different. We're not culturally British. We're not culturally Jamaican. We're not culturally Cuban. So yeah, I mean, cultures pretty much passed down traditionally, right? Mainly through family, region, and stuff like that. Hence why I just said, like New Jersey blacks culturally is different than the blacks in New Orleans, right? I mean, there's some similarities, but it's not exactly the same, right? Like they got different things going on down there than we have going on up here, and you can tell the difference in similarities when you go down there, and so. But that's still my people, right? I still feel comfortable. Right.
It's like down south, right? Like we talked to Kev from down south, right? The northern blacks are different from the southern blacks. Okay, I live in Virginia now, right? So the southerners, the deep southerners, don't consider Virginia south, even though for us northerners, Virginia would be south.
That's south. Actually, a lot of people up here consider Maryland south, but people in Maryland but people in Virginia consider Maryland the north.
Right.
So it's weird like that. So yeah, it's because that's right there at the Mason-Dixon line. So it's kind of like depending on where you at, it's going to be a little bit a gray area right there around Maryland and everything.
Okay, now watch this, Psycho. Abby, come here for a second. Abby. Abby, when you get a chance. Okay, now let me ask you. I got Psycho pages of it. Psycho, this is my little daughter from Ghana. This is Victoria.
Peace. How you doing?
Okay, so Abby, if me and Psycho decide to come to Africa, right? Now immediately when we get there, you would recognize us as a what?
As a Black American.
As a Black American, so you would call us an Obroni, right?
Right.
Now, in order for us to be accepted as Africans, what are we missing? What do we need to get back?
All right. See, this is you're making the same mistake Taz made, right? And this is why Taz lost the debate. And nobody understood the context of what debate was actually about. Taz went in there debating one thing that the debate actually wasn't even about. Now, we yes, we are all Americans, right? We Black Americans. We're born here, right? That's our nationality. Your nationality is solely based on where you was born, right? That's what your nationality is solely based on. Now your ethnicity is based on where your family lineage is from, right? Like that's what like that's how you get like like Jamaican Americans and everything else. People that was born here, but their parents was born in Jamaica, right? They like the kids is American, but they're Jamaican American because their ethnicity takes them back to Jamaica, right? So now, given that we over here, know we came from Africa, at least, well, except for the confused people. Outside the confused people out here, most people that understand history and that's well documented throughout the globe understands that we came from the Caribbean via Africa, right? Through the transatlantic slave trade. Now, because of that, we kind of all got jumbled. We came from different parts of Africa. We all didn't come from one sector. We came from different parts of Africa. We don't know what tribe we from and what country we from. So therefore, we just identify as African American, just as an identifier of who we are. Now, but we are American. We are American because we were born here. Now, when people say African, they talking about our ethnicity, our lineage. That's where it dates back to. It dates back to Africa. It doesn't start here. Our lineage don't start here. It starts in Africa. So that's when people saying the term African, they're not saying like we was born in Africa or we live in Africa or they're not even saying we should go back to Africa. Some people are into repatriation and believe we should go back to Africa, kind of like Marcus Garvey. But everybody who believes in Pan-Africanism doesn't preach we should go back to Africa. Like myself, I don't believe necessarily we should go back to Africa because Pan-Africanism doesn't preach that you have to go back to Africa. That's a narrative that Aboriginals like to push, BS, because they try to scare everybody into hating Africa and everything else. It's an anti-Africa movement. What Pan-African, all Pan-African says is we all the same people. We all the same people, whether you in the UK, whether you in Jamaica, Nigeria, Ghana, Canada, wherever you at, we all Black and we all identify as being the same people. That's all Pan-African means. It doesn't mean you have to go ship back to Africa. Like so,
right.
People are spinning narratives, anti-African narratives, and intentionally. To push this fuck shit because they Aboriginals. They want to deny we even come from Africa. So their goal is to make everybody have a hate for Africa, a disdain for Africa, and then ultimately they're gonna start questioning, are we even from Africa? And then they ain't gonna want to be from Africa. They're gonna want to feel like they was always here because that's gonna make them feel better because they already pushed off this narrative that Africa.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Let me jump in there. See, I never understood that, right? What is already here? What does that even mean? Because if life began, scientists would tell you that life began in Africa. So we all come from Africa. What is already here? What does that even mean? We were already here. We all came out of Africa.
No, they don't believe that. They believe we was here. And you got some people that tell you we was here and they shipped all the Black people that's in Africa now, all them Black people from Africa that there now came from here. That slavery happened to be reversed.
Right. No, that doesn't even make any sense.
Got a whole bunch of weird, but it depends on the Aboriginal you talking to. Some will preach that, some will not. Some depends on which. Like they all have different philosophies, but they all ultimately believe that we are not. Our lineage does not date back to Africa. Our lineage is always here.
You know what? I do believe that we are African. Definitely by blood. That's who we are. But I think the culture makes the difference. So I do think that Black people should at least go visit the continent once, just to try to get some of the culture of what our ancestors had, because we don't have any of that. I wasn't born in an African culture.
Right now, I'm not somebody who preaches you have to go back. And we got to start practicing African culture here and everything else. No, we got our own culture we developed here. Right.
Exactly.
Again, so that aspect of it, I agree. Like I said, I'm not somebody. I just want people to stop with the nonsense when they start denying of what our lineage comes from. Like I'm
Right,
cool
right.
with embracing, like I embrace the I'm from the hood. I embrace the hood. I embrace everything that come out the hood.
Right.
Like this is where I am. This is where I was at. This is what I know. So I have no problems with people embracing Black American culture, right? Because we kind of created our own culture here. And yes, culturally we're different, but genetically we're the same. Genetically,
And you know what? I don't understand, because even Africans will tell you, right? Unite with your people before you come with Africa. Before you come to Africa. Hold on one second. Unite with your people. Even Abby says, okay, these are your people here in America. Okay? Yes, they understand that we are of African descent, but they also recognize that we are a people. And they tell us, unite with your people first before you come to Africa. But some people don't want to hear that either. Some people don't want to accept that either. Okay? They don't believe that we're people here.
Africa's not even a monolith, so that's kind of a broad brush statement when people say that, because there's different countries there, they all don't get along with each other. So it's kind of like like when you say that, what does that even mean? What country are you talking about?
Well, it depends on where your ancestors come from, which is another.
But that's sketchy, because your ancestors come from two different parts of Africa. Because of the way genetics are and haplogroups work and everything. You can have a portion of your ancestors from West Africa, another a small portion from North Africa, another part from a different country in West Africa, from different parts of Africa. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint it to one area and one tribe. It's kind of hard.
Okay, Kev 504. Kev, you can come on up here, man. The link, Abby, drop the link, please, when you get a chance. Somebody get that bot out of here.
I see we got an Abo in the chat who can't prove nothing he's saying. Who can't prove nothing he's saying.
Come on up. Let's get the discussion going,
y'all. These Abos can prove nothing they saying. Got no evidence whatsoever.
Come on up. I love the discussion, man. Let's get it popping. Okay, so listen.
And this is what I push back. That rhetoric right there in the chat, that's what I go in on right there.
Which one?
The no, we are not African. We are the land of the giants. He's trying to insinuate that we was always here. He's one of the people that I was just talking about. That's what I push back.
Okay, that's Phoenix Gene. Okay, yeah, Phoenix Gene. Drop the link. You want to come up here, get it in.
That's the anti-African, self-loathing rhetoric right there that bothers me.
Yeah, come on, y'all. Don't be afraid.
People ain't got to come up here. People don't have to wear dashikis. They ain't got to wear unks. I'm not saying all that crazy everything else, but to deny where our people come from, that's self-loathing. That's self-loathing.
Exactly. People, it's not a beat down. It's a discussion. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to learn. So come on up. Don't be afraid. You got a difference of opinion. Come on up. Okay. So second, let me come at you like this with Garvey now. Okay, now. This is what I said. Okay, they talked about Garvey being a scammer, right? Now, one of the points Jabari made was this here. His main thing, the reason why Garvey wasn't a scammer is because he was investigated by the FBI. But almost everybody back then that spoke out about injustices to Black people was investigated by the FBI. Stokely Carmichael, right. I mean, everybody.
But you do understand that was J. Edgar Hoover's first case, right?
Yeah.
His very first case was Marcus Garvey. He was the first one. He was the first one to get investigated as far as Black leaders. He was number one. He was the first.
Right, but does it say that he's not a scammer because he's being investigated by the FBI?
No, but did you see what J. Edgar Hoover said after the investigation?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did.
So how can people still call him a scammer after J. Edgar Hoover himself said he couldn't find anything on Garvey?
Okay. But he did. Okay, so talk about the so-called mail fraud, where he got locked up for.
I mean, mail fraud is kind of like the tax evasion they caught Al Capone for. They couldn't catch Al Capone for anything else, so they got him for tax evasion.
Right.
So they couldn't get Marcus Garvey for anything else, so they got him with some BS mail fraud thing because of the pictures that was on the pamphlets that he was selling out, and so they was able to get him on that on a technicality. They got Marcus Garvey on a technicality. That's what they got him on. I
went back. RBR said something about Firestone in Liberia, right? So I went back to some research. Yes, they had the rubber plant, but I can't find anywhere where they were producing tires. The tires were produced over here. Once the rubber got over here,
Right. The
I don't
thing
know.
fell through. It fell. All that stuff fell through. He was trying to strike a deal. I know it fell through.
But RBR talked about, well, he sold the tire. I don't know if he sold tires to them, but he did sell the rubber, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think it was the rubber.
Right. Because there was no tire plants in Liberia back then.
But let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think Marcus Garvey is such a hot topic?
I'm not sure, man.
I mean, this is a man who ain't been relevant for about 100 years.
And he's not even a Black American either, which I thought was kind of odd to begin with. Like, he's Jamaican, right?
Right. And also he was talking about going back to Africa. Now, why do you think certain people, because this ain't why do you think certain people make 500 motherfucking streams and videos focusing on Marcus Garvey, a man, again, who has been dead for over 100 years, a man who don't have a huge impact in the Black community, because most Black people, and the average Black person in the community don't know nothing about Marcus Garvey, couldn't even point him out. Like Marcus Garvey is kept alive through people like myself and like hardcore historians and everything else. We keep him alive. But for the most part, the grand public perception of Marcus Garvey is he's invisible. Who is he? Like people don't know him. Like I got to literally sit here and tell people about Marcus Garvey and teach people about Marcus Garvey because they don't know. So now for somebody to be this obsolete in the grand scheme of things, historically, I'm talking about like just historically in the grand scheme of things, like he's a blip on the radar. He's bigged up by people like us, but that's it. So he's not Martin Luther King. He's not Malcolm X. He's not Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan gets more attention than Marcus Garvey. He's still alive. Nobody talking about him. They're skipping over all the stuff he's doing, and he's alive doing all kinds of craziness. They skip all over him, but we want to talk about a person from 100 years ago. Now, the reason why that is because this is an Aboriginal anti-African movement. Attack Marcus Garvey because Marcus Garvey tried to preach go back to Africa, and everything else, and they are anti-African. They believe we always was here. They don't even want to hear about us going to Africa, us being from Africa, and everything. And Marcus Garvey is the poster child of that. So therefore, they feel the need to constantly hammer home and attack Marcus Garvey because these are some self-loathing.
That's that. That's that Dan Calloway and Chief Holiday. They preach that shit. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I was wondering why that was all of a sudden. I knew more about Sanger than Garvey.
Well, I thought it was because of the Pan-African thing, right?
Pan-African didn't start with Marcus Garvey. Pan-African didn't start with Marcus Garvey. People act like Marcus Garvey started Pan-African, and everything Marcus Garvey said, you got to follow that. Like I have people tell me I can't be Pan-African because I'm an atheist. Because Marcus Garvey had it in the UNIA where you have to believe in Christ and the Bible and everything. Well, that's the UNIA. You can say I can't join the UNIA. I couldn't join Marcus Garvey movement, but you can't tell me I can't be Pan-African because that ain't what Marcus Garvey is not the totality of Pan-African. I explained what Pan-African is, and it has nothing to do with what spiritual God you believe in or lack thereof.
But how come the Africans themselves, they don't recognize Pan-Africanism?
Because it's mainly a movement that's largely pushed by Black Americans, to be honest with you.
Okay. Because I was talking to Abby about that. She doesn't even know what that is. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, it's more of a branch off, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a movement. It's a movement mainly pushed by Black Americans due to our lack of identity with what's going on in Africa. Because again, we can't pinpoint ourselves to one tribe or one country, so therefore it's just easy just to exactly because we was Pan-African the second we got on that boat. Believe it or not, the second we got on that boat and started calling all of us Black, we was Pan-African. It wasn't called Pan-African, but the concept of Pan-African, that's exactly what we did. We all got on the boat, different tribes, speaking different languages, everything else, got indoctrinated together on the same land, and we started bonding together, and we became one people. We became Black Americans. That was a Pan-African concept right there.
Now, let me tell you why I thought Jabari took a serious hit. Right, when Taz came at him hard with the R word, the not standing up for the women and children over there. When I thought his response was corny, man. You're talking about, well, brother, these things are going on all over the world. Why didn't you specifically address what was going on the continent and how we can get around it.
Because again, the debate topic. Let's not forget what the debate topic was. The debate
Mm-hmm.
topic was, should we connect with Africa? Taz's excuse for not connecting with Africa was because of all this rape and stuff that's going on down there. But yet he's defending America that got all this rape and shit going on over here, and he also pinpointed the exact state that Taz is from, where they was having rape rallies and everything else. So if rape is your problem of why we shouldn't go to Africa, then what are you doing in Ohio to stop this? We got all this rape stuff going on here. So you're not going to escape rape by staying here and not going to Africa. Right. So that's a lame excuse. That was his point for saying that. Like it debunked everything he said. It killed this whole talking.
I didn't hear the debate, but I mean, I agree with you on that, man. I mean, at some point, there's nothing wrong with connecting back to Africa to some degree. Me being from the South, I think a lot of folks need to connect with the South first, then go, because your roots are right here.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
Yes, right. I agree with that. There's no need to now connecting with Africa is, as far as like me being a nationalist, right? And I believe we should build here. I still would want to connect with Africa because you got to build diplomatic relations. You got to build diplomatic relations and everything. So you would have. That means you would have to reach out and connect with people.
Hey man, what is Felix G talking about? We are the ones that the Pilgrims killed and called it Thanksgiving.
I told you they think we're the original Indians. They think I'm telling you this is the rhetoric I push back against. This is what anti-Africa rhetoric leads to. Stuff like this. Thinking this is our land. Thinking we always been here. The government pencil whipped us. They wrote us out of history. Some grandiose conspiracy. So that's guys chasing our tails, looking crazy, trying to culture vulture other people's culture. It's disgusting. It's like we gotta stop.
She said the Trail of Tears was us. The Trail of Tears.
We was in the Trail of Tears. The Black Seminoles for one. The Black Seminoles. And you had, but what happened was, don't tell the whole story. What happened was the Black Seminoles was in the Trail of Tears, and once they marched their asses from Florida all the way up to Oklahoma, where slavery was legal, those Indians, those same Seminoles that y'all marched with, that this, that, and third, turned their backs on y'all and enslaved y'all, because those Black Seminoles really wasn't original Seminoles. They became Seminoles because they seek refuge. It was runaway slaves that seek refuge in the Seminoles tribe, and they helped them fight the Seminole Wars. But they lost the Seminole Wars, and they had to march the Trail of Tears. And when they marched the Trail of Tears and got to Oklahoma, where slavery was legal, those same Indians that those black slaves was helping fight that war, they enslaved them. That's what happened.
Man. Callaway and the Ram. Callaway and them ran me out of one of their. They ran me out of one of their lives one night, man. It was just talking crazy, talking about slavery happened in the reverse, and that white people were slaves and brought here on ships and stuff. Crazy. I was like, man, what the hell are you niggas talking? Man,
they got revisionist history.
They ran me.
They got revisionist.
Yeah, but they ran me up out of there.
Small percentage that it didn't even matter to the most part, if that even happened. But what I don't get, okay, I do realize, me being from Louisiana, that there's a mixture of Native American and some blacks. But see, when they get to the West Coast and you claiming to be one of the Native American, tribes, but you study banging on black folks, I can't respect that. I can't respect that at all. Your whole platform is on black folks, regardless of what. That's a different thing. And then you go down to Africa, and then some of the southern.
But now I'm gonna be real with you, Kev, man. I don't like Jabari. I think Jabari's a phony. Okay, and I think he's over here exploiting black people. That's why I'm kind of like really, trying to find a way to have him lose his damn debate right now. I'll be honest with you. But Psycho is doing a good job. I'm blocking that, but okay, so let's go here, right? If you look at the Garvey thing about stepping foot in Africa, now Taz was right about that. Now the BBC miswrote that article.
It was two things. It was two mistakes Jabari made. That was one of them. That was one of them. That was one of the mistakes Jabari made. The other mistake was using that Roots video. You never use Roots when having a conversation with an Aboriginal. That is the biggest one. If you mention Roots, Jesse Jackson, or Marcus Garvey, when having a conversation with an Aboriginal, you are making a mistake. They are going to derail the whole conversation and make it all about that. And sure enough, he did that, and Taz was all over it. I knew he was going to be all over it when Jabari did it. And so those are two mistakes Jabari made in that debate.
What about the X-Men reference?
Oh, that wasn't no mistake. He was on point where he was trying. Well, the premise what he was trying to say, that was fine. But the Roots part was where he fucked up. It was the Roots part.
Yeah.
Because the Abbo's premise is Roots. They're right when they say Roots was plagiarized. Roots was a plagiarized book. It was written by a white dude. The original name of the book was called The African, and Alex Haley plagiarized it. He got sued for it too, by the way, and lost. So Roots was a plagiarized.
Wow, really?
Book. Yeah. Roots was.
I didn't know anything about that.
Roots was a plagiarized book, but it still was based around real stories. It was fictional. I mean, nobody ever claimed that Roots was. Actually, Alex Haley did claim it was supposed to be a part of his family lineage, loosely based on his family lineage. But Roots was still based around, because the original book, The African, was still based around real slave stuff, based on story, because it was still living slaves at the time when the white dude wrote that book. It was still people that was born into slavery living at the time, and they had stories and everything. He gathered up all these stories and formulated the book, and then Alex Haley jacked it and plagiarized it. But just because that book was plagiarized don't mean that those books didn't come from stories that was taken from real slaves or whatever, incorporated. They put different names on it, and I'm sure they added some things for movie purposes, whatever the case may be. But for the most part, that was kind of a loosely interpretation of what happened during slavery, loosely interpreted.
Now, just want to understand, what is the purpose? Okay, you got Phoenix Jeans saying Asians migrated to America and mixed with us. The offspring are now the people they call the Native Americans. So what is this?
That's their premises. The Abbos believe that all the black natives stem from the East, right? The East Coast had all the black natives, right? And then you had the quote unquote the people that we call natives now, the real natives. I'm just gonna call them the real natives. I ain't gonna play these little silly games. The real natives were over in the West Coast. They was over in California and all that stuff and everything else. Now, I guess what her premise is that we all got together and we mixed with them, and that's the new native now. But if that's the case, then what happened to the old native? Did they just go extinct? Like, what happened to the old native? Like, what did the old native look like? Like, if you're telling me these natives that are out here now is the new native, what happened to the old ones? I don't know.
That's a good question.
Okay. Another point that I had a problem with Jabari was he talked about personal attacks, right? But there was one he did on Taz I thought was pretty bad. The one where he said that Taz was a hurt dude and he was so messed up that he had to stick a knife in and turn it. I thought that was out of line, bro. Because it made it seem like he was an animal that he had to put out of his misery.
Nah, he didn't mean that's just intellectual sparring or whatever. He wasn't literally meaning like put a literal knife in him and turn it. He was kind of like just because like this information is hurting him, but I got to put a knife in it and turn it because I need to really hit him with this information because it hurts. Like him hearing the truth hurts. He don't want to believe that his ancestors come from Africa. He don't want to believe that. That's why they talk so crazy about Africa. If you want to claim that y'all come from Africa, then you go ahead, you booty scratcher. They start calling booty scratchers and all this other stuff, all these little wild ass terms and this, that, and the third. But they don't realize you talking about your ancestors, dog. Like you act like you're not talking about your ancestors.
Like that, man. I've noticed that they kind of like that.
Yeah,
they're real separate.
But that's like I said, they self-loathers. They self-loathers because they're trying to disconnect themselves from their own ancestors.
Yeah, but you guys don't think that he was more like
coming from as far as in these spaces, the tension coming from the West. Male and female, the racial tension, all that bullshit That's a whole lot of what all the vesting and niggas ain't all that's coming from the West, men and women.
Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of West
different.
Coast. Except, yeah, it
Nah,
is a
man,
lot of that bullshit. Yeah.
we the same, and I ain't been around that long. I can see this shit. We, we could be all black, but we different. We different by region in this country alone. I don't understand how they have denied taking it back to Africa, even trying to, when you just that completely separate here. No connection with your local roots as far as a nation, but want to take it all the way back. I never got
Let me ask you a question though, right? If Garvey never stepped foot in Africa, then where was he taking the people to? Was he Did he
Well, it
plan
was
on
land.
taking
It
them
was
to
land.
Ethiopia?
It's
Because
supposed to been land. It's supposed to been land. No, originally it's supposed to go to Liberia. That's what originally where they were supposed to go.
I thought
But
he
it was
wanted to go to
already.
Ethiopia, but
It was land. There was
but
land. It was land. It was land. It was land there for us that because U.S. had control of Liberia, and it was land for us there if we wanted to go. And that's where he was trying to. That was the original destination.
oh, I thought it may have been Ethiopia, and that's why he was upset with Haile Selassie
Well,
when
that was after the fact. Yeah, that was later. That was later. He with the whole tires and all that. That wasn't where he actually wanted. That was business. That was business and everything else. That had less to do with repatriation, just more to do with business, doing business with Africa, in Africa.
You talking about in Ethiopia or
In
Liberia?
Ethiopia. Liberia was the destination he wanted us to move to.
Oh, okay, because Haile Selassie was in a fight with Mussolini over there in Ethiopia. I thought maybe that's where he wanted to go. That's why he was so critical of Haile Selassie, running up out of there.
Yeah, that was different. That had to do, like I said, that was more business dealings and everything else, like community. Yeah.
Now, let me get to something else. Jabari said, right? He said, okay, what is black? What is black America? What is a black? And then he made the reference to the guy, I think the Indian guy who shaved off his eyelashes, cut his hair, and went to medical school, applied to medical school as a black man or whatever.
That weird stuff. Yeah, I was going to touch on that last night too. I forgot about it. You just reminded me.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like blackness. I mean, we get our blackness from our ancestors. That's the only way I can describe it. Yeah, I mean, we get it from our ancestors. So, black means that we
opened up a can of words with that. He opened up a can of words with that one.
Yeah,
because like on some other stuff, like
I'm like, what are you talking about, man? We get our blackness from our ancestors. We're black because our ancestors are from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are American because we're born in this land. I think the problem that people are having is the fact that it's hard to get around the fact that we were born in this country. Like, if you ask me right off the rip, if you didn't know me, was I African? I would probably tell you no.
Mm.
I'm not African.
No, you're not. You're American. But
right.
again, when people are saying African, they're talking about like where your ancestors derived from. Not what you was born as far as like, as far as your nationality, just where your ancestors derived from. Just like we call white people Europeans. I'll call like Kelly Rowe or Kelly or whatever, Europeans or whatever, like they're Americans, right? But I'll call them Europeans because that's where their ancestry come from. The ancestry come from Europe, so I call them Europeans, right? But they're not European. They're not literally Europeans because they wasn't literally born in Europe. The same thing with Africans. That's what we call white people Europeans, call black people Africans. That's so it's just a loosely based term when we use that. We're talking about lineage.
So should we connect to Africa? Well, I would say for culture, yeah. Because we don't really know the land. We don't know the people. We don't know the traditions, the customs, and things like that. You can easily get into a dispute over there if you say something a certain way that sounds one way over here, but sounds another way over there. You can easily get into a thing over there. I've already experienced that. So, I don't know. I think for the culture, yeah, I think we should connect. I'm not saying go back there and stay or whatever. You can do whatever you want. But I think for the culture, you should try to go back at least once in your lifetime.
I think it'll be a good experience to go.
Right.
Go once. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't promote that we have to go move there. But I mean, people want to go move there. That's on them. I'm not hating on it. If that's what you want to do. I'm more concerned about fighting for land that I think is owed to us here. I think we have land that's owed to us here, and I love Black culture here, and I want to keep it alive. So this, that, and third, but I do acknowledge where we come from. It's not,
Now,
as much as I love Black culture, I'm not going to deny where my ancestors came from.
now there are atrocities that are going on over there that are just absolutely horrific, man. I mean, he didn't even, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't even hit the tip of the iceberg, bro. I mean, the R word, that ain't all that's going over there. There's some wild shit going on over there, man. And some of the places, man, you know what they're doing, man? They got their own militia
wild
going
shit going
in.
on over here. There's wild shit going on over here too. Like it's wild shit going on everywhere. I mean, over here, we getting murdered and it's being justified through the court system. We got wild shit going on over here too. Like it's wild shit going on everywhere. Now again, that doesn't stop the fact that we shouldn't connect with people, because everybody that's over there doing all that wild stuff isn't everybody. Just like I could say, like, you got everybody loves to talk about Chicago and black on black crime in Chicago. All these people dying in Chicago, but when you really look at the numbers of Black people that's in Chicago and the Black people that's out here doing all this stuff, it makes up a very small portion of the population.
Okay, well, let's talk about the employment system over there, right? In Ghana alone. Now, I'm not sure if this, well, yeah, in Nigeria too, because I was talking Shakabulan, right? It's pretty much the same in Nigeria too, right? You figure they work a month and their average salary is 300 CDs, right? Which amounts to like $50 in American dollars, right? And even at the end of the 30 months, sometime at the end of the month, they don't get paid. They got to work a whole nother month to get paid for the month that they didn't get paid. I mean, that's modern day slavery, bro.
Right. Well, let me ask you a question. What country is that?
That's Ghana and Nigeria.
Let me ask you a question. What's the price of living out in Ghana?
I don't know. Hold on one second. Abby, come on in here.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, Psycho just asked the question. What is the cost of living in Ghana?
Okay, the cost of living in Ghana, it will depends on you how you want to live. Like for instance, you want to live yourself like the way we living over here, because some people want to be living like a rich people that they have everything like the way you are in state. You have it in the state. You want to have it over here. It will depends on you how you want to live over here. If you want to live a normal life, it will not cost you. But if you want to live like a rich life, it's going to cost you.
Give us some numbers. Give us some numbers. Give us some numbers. Give us a normal life. Give us some numbers.
Okay, like numbers, like I will be saying, like you have 10,000 Ghana cities. That's 100 million over here, or 20,000 Ghana cities. That's going to cost you like that, and even more.
Okay, so a normal
How much
life
is
over
like
there is
rent?
what, 10?
How much is rent?
Oh, okay. The rent is okay. We have maybe 3 bedroom self-contained apartment. They have 13 Ghana cities, 15 Ghana cities, and then they have 900 Ghana cities. It will depends on the room that you want, but they have the cheap ones, which is
So
500 Ghana cities, 400 Ghana cities, 300 Ghana cities, and then even 150 Ghana cities.
150.
Yeah.
It's like $20, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Like
You can live
$30.
somewhere.
yeah,
Wait a minute. You can live somewhere for $20 a month.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. Like you got to look at the cost of living, man. The cost of living is way cheaper out there. It's expensive out here, man. It's expensive out here, bro. Now that ain't go. Now they couldn't live with that money out here, but out there you can. That's what I'm saying. Like Africa is way cheaper to live. That's one of the things that the people that preach go back to Africa preaches how cheap it is to live out there.
Damn, man. You can live somewhere for $20 a month.
Yeah.
The fuck?
What is it like? I think it's like our dollar is worth like what is it? What I forgot what they just said it was.
Gabby, how much is a dollar to a CD? Was it like
like 16
6 or 7 Ghana CDs?
Well, which one? The top?
For $1,
An American dollar.
$1 is 6.5.
6.5 CDs.
Yeah. Now they have reduced it to 6.2. Six cities,
6.2.
20,
See what I'm saying?
6 cities, 20 pesos.
Yeah, see.
Damn, I didn't know it was like that. Okay, and then over there you can pay your rent up for 2 years at a time, right?
Yeah, even 3 years, 4 years if you want.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? So it don't sound that bad, as bad as you think when you look at it that way.
Oh, okay. So
That's why I said you got to look at the cost of living and everything else. So, it's not as bad as people will make it out to be, because they not putting that, they put in how much they're making out there in American dollars, and they considering that, how could you live off that? How can you live off that if you're
right,
stuck here?
yeah.
Because out here that ain't nothing.
Hell
You
no.
homeless. You homeless with
Yeah,
that. With making that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't look at it that way. I didn't know. Okay. Okay, so it's okay. Man, that just blew my mind, man. $20 a month
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like that.
with a job?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
That's why they don't get paid that much, because the cost of living isn't that high.
And Abby, what's the average cost of food? Is the food cheap too? If you
I'm sure it is. I'm sure they grow a lot of these stuff right there. So
yeah, they do, because she does a lot of they go to the market, pretty much every day. And so
Okay,
like
so
give me like a
sorry.
bag of groceries. Like, what's the average cost of a bag of groceries? Like, if you go to the market, like, what is an average thing that you get? And give me the cost.
Okay, I get like a rice, yam, and then oil, tomatoes. Like for instance, the oil, the small gallon. We call it a gallon because it's a small. We say a
Hmm.
small gallon, not the big one. The small gallon is 65 Ghana cedis, and then the big one is 400 Ghana cedis. A bag of rice, we have the 50 kilos and we have the 25 kilos. The 50 kilos is cost 350 Ghana cedis and 400 Ghana cedis.
Well, shit, the food costs more than the goddamn rent.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Damn. All right.
Okay, the
Thanks, Abby.
rent, okay, the rent, because the reason why you see that the rent is not costing the rent, they don't take it a monthly. They gather the money. If it is a whole month, they'll tell you pay for 2 years or 3 years. So they needed that money from you at that moment. They don't need like just $20 for a month that you pay, then you go your way.
Right. Right.
They will
They
take
rather you pay like
everything
a
from you.
2-year contract, kind of like
Yeah,
how they used
Oh,
to do the cell phones or whatever. Like they used to
right.
try
right,
to
So
get
if
you
you
a
right.
don't have
contract.
that one, it's gonna be problem for you.
Pretty much a lease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
2-year
Basically,
lease.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
instead
Yeah.
they paid it all up front. Instead they paid it all up
Right.
front. Not right.
Well, yeah. Hell, I could pay that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
That's why brothers be going out there and everything else, man. Because it's so cheap and everything, and yeah. And that's why a lot of Africans want to come out here, because they see all the money that people make out here, and they like, I could live like people out here could live like kings and queens out here with that kind of money.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Like, when I look at the employment system, it fucked me up. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, but I'm looking at it from an American standpoint. Like, I would
Right,
never work for
right.
that kind of money. Like, are you crazy? And they got the nerve to not pay me at the end of the month? Shit, I wish somebody would. Man, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. You work in 30 days, and I'm going to tell you, well, I can't pay you this month. I'm going to pay you next month. But you still got to come to work. I said, shit. Man, all right. Okay, I
yeah.
got you,
I'm
dog.
not going to co-sign the working conditions. That's messed up
Uh-huh.
working conditions. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
they need a union out there or something. I don't know, but but yeah, the working conditions ain't the best. I will agree with you.
So, all right. Okay, thanks, Abby. So, getting back to the debate. Okay, well, now I see it. It's a little different. I guess it was a bit of a stretch there, because there was I thought Taz did make a lot of points. But I didn't know he was arguing from an Aboriginal. I don't really know much about the
This is all,
Aboriginals.
that's why I said this is all anti-Aboriginal. This is all anti-Africa, Aboriginal BS he got from this jailhouse rhetoric. I'm gonna go ahead and call it what it is. This jailhouse scholarship. This is what they preach in the jails. And like the little Moors, he probably was hanging around a bunch of little Moors when he was locked up and everything else. And they was pumping his head up with all this nonsense anti-Africa rhetoric. And when they give you this stuff, like I said, they telling you the truth. Like he didn't lie about anything, but he didn't give you the whole story. Like, see, now you got the whole story. Before you just had a half truth, and you was like, you was gung ho, like, that's fucked up. How they gonna do that and everything else? But now that you see everything in its full context, it makes sense now. See, but that's what these abos do. They like to play little mind games. They they like to play little mental gymnastics, smoke and mirrors, and they'll hit you with half truths, and then spin a narrative behind it, and they'll leave the other part out that will kind of like defuse the narrative that they're trying to push. So they intentionally leave that out. These people are disingenuous. They pushing a narrative. They pushing an anti-African narrative. That's so be careful where you get your information from, because people got agendas. They got agendas out here.
I didn't know the Aboriginals was pushing. I know Dan Calloway was on some, but Dan Calloway thinks he's a damn Indian anyway, man.
Yeah, he's different. He's a different type of abo than Taz. Taz ain't on the same shit. Like Taz ain't gonna get up here and say slavery didn't happen. Taz ain't gonna get on here and say Harriet Tubman was a train conductor in an Underground Railroad. He's not gonna say stupid stuff like that, right? But he does. But he is gonna hold tight to this whole black people were Native Americans here and everything else. Like he believes that.
To me, I don't even know how that even is possible, because I hear people say that too. We were already here. I don't even know how we already here if everything from science is telling you that life began in Africa.
They denied the out of Africa theory. That's how they can tell you that. They say it's all bullshit. They denied the out of Africa theory. They denied DNA, because DNA can shut all this down. One ancestry test can shut all this down, and they refuse to take it. They will say it's all fake. They'll say their DNA test ain't real and everything else. They just deny everything. They just deny everything.
Speaking of that, what do you think about that? What is it, me and 23? No, was it 23 and me or something like that? Isn't that DNA test, that African DNA test that people are taking?
It's a bunch of different ones. It ain't just, it's a bunch of different companies that do it, depending on, but that's one of them,
I think Don Cheeto took his and found out he was but you could tell Don Cheeto wasn't that. But you could tell,
he was partially right? He was partially right, because he was told that he was Native American and everything else is that third his ancestors come from Native American ancestry. He was partially right. The only part that was left out was he's not genetically Native American. His parents came from being slaves of Native Americans, so they were culturally Native American. That they was a part they went through. They was one of the black people that I was talking about that went through the Trail of Tears, ended up being slaves in Oklahoma for the Native Americans. And then when they got let free, they was a part of the Native American culture, because they was around Native American culture for so long. So they was culturally Native, but their ancestry is still from Africa. So he was partially right. He was partially right where he said his family did have Native American. It was Native American, but he thought they was genetically Native American. That he didn't realize that they only Native American through slavery.
And even when slavery was over, I think the Native Indians held on to slaves for another.
Yep. It was the last ones, another year or two. It was like another 2 years.
Yeah, before they let them go.
They finally let them go. Yeah, they finally signed the treaty and everything. Yeah. That was in Oklahoma too. That was also Oklahoma. And that also affected Don Cheadle's family. His family was one of the families that was the last ones to get let go.
So did he get any kind of reparations from that? His family get any kind of reparations from the Indians?
Yeah, they got some land, and they started up a black town out there that was all black town. They talked about it in that special. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting, man. Like I said, I didn't know a lot of this stuff, but now, like you said, it makes sense. Because that does sound like a very anti-African argument.
Yeah, it's just taking a dump on Africa. Let's just take a dump on Africa. Let me just highlight all the negative things about Africa. Like nothing good comes out of Africa. So there's nothing but bad that comes out of Africa. Signing white supremacists talking about Chicago. There's no good black people in Chicago. Everybody's out there shooting.
I don't believe that.
There's nothing good that go on in Chicago. Yeah, like no.
Yeah. I never believed that. I never believed that. You know, something's going on. I don't know what's going on over there, but I know people from Chicago, and they don't. A lot of the stuff that's reported, when I talk to my people out there, they don't even know where this shit is going on at.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, Chicago's a big ass city. I mean, people act like Chicago's a small ass town, and
it's big, man.
Chicago was it the second biggest city, second or third biggest city?
Yeah, man, dude. I was driving my truck.
No, it's number four. It's number four. It's number four. New York's number one. LA's two. Houston's three.
Dude,
and Chicago's four.
Downtown Chicago is so big. I was driving an 18-wheel truck through buildings.
Yeah, Chicago big as hell.
I was driving through buildings, dude. I was going up ramps and riding through buildings like I was riding on the street.
Yeah, and shit big as hell. That's what I'm saying. That's like motherfuckers saying like that's like talking about, like you talk about New York. You say, yo, something happened out in something happened uptown, this, that, and the third. Motherfuckers out in Brooklyn ain't gonna know who the fuck it was and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that's way out. That's way uptown. The people out in East New York ain't gonna know what the hell going on uptown like that. Like not like that. You know what I'm saying? So no, like so when things happen in Chicago, like I said, they talk like it's just this little small radius about a 40 block radius or square, and that's it. And everything's happening in this little radius right here. No, that shit big as hell. That shit big as hell, man.
So what was the ultimate goal? Like, okay, so should black people connect to Africa? Maybe it could have been more of a discussion rather than a debate. You know what I'm saying? Because
I mean, it could have been. Like I said, like Taz just wanted to just push his abo nonsense. He just like I said, he fucked up taking that debate title. If he wanted to debate Garvey, he should have kept pressing about Garvey, and because that Garvey was not the debate. Garvey is not the debate, but he tried to make the debate about Garvey, and that's where he lost that. That's where he lost that ultimately. He spent too much time not even debating the actual topic.
When he talked about the part, like I said, when he talked about how the R word was going on over there and that they wouldn't defend the women and children and stuff like that. Over there is a lot of that, going on in Africa. Also, I thought where he hit home was the mutilation, the genital mutilation, because they got several movies that people don't know about that talks about the genital mutilation of women over there. And it's a lot of that going on too. And who just came up? Hold on a second. Somebody just came up. And they talked about that, right? And so, hold on for 1 second. And for Jabari to dismiss that and say, well, that's going on all over the world. No, not really. Not that particular thing. Okay? Not that particular thing right there. That's not really going on all over the world. And see, and when I hear people say stuff like that, to me, it sounds like, all right, well, you denying cleaning up the shit that's in your own house.
Right.
You worried about somebody else's house. What about the shit that's in your house? The shit's in your house too. So let's clean the shit up in your house first before we talk about somebody else's house and shit. That's why I thought about. But see, I don't like Jabari anyway, so I'm kind of biased. But even with my biases, you cut through my biases too, man. So damn you, bro.
I just want you to understand, just the context of the debate. Like now we have an overall discussion on whether or not that's third. We could broaden the conversation, and then some of these things could apply. But the actual debate topic and what they were supposed to be hammering home, he didn't. He was trying to spin the debate. He was trying to spin the debate, and it didn't work. And
I heard
it fell flat.
I had Arthur yesterday when me and him was. I heard Arthur say yesterday that he thought it was a flaw that Garvey was even in the debate at all.
Yeah, because what does Garvey have to? Unless you're just talking about, well, historically we tried this with Garvey and it didn't work. Blah blah blah. It's something that you could probably highlight it. I guess if you're trying to. It's something. Peace, Rozzy, and Rozzy up here, gas. You must be gassed up because y'all got hardened. I'm not happy with that.
Abby, drop the link. Come on up, Rozzy.
I'm not happy with that trade either, by the way. But anyways.
Come on up. It's a discussion, man. It ain't a beat down contest. We having a discussion. Come on up.
Nah, I'm just talking about I ain't here to kick nobody back in and none of that other shit. I'm talking about the topic, the debate topic, and yeah, exactly. And like I said, he spent way too much time talking about Garvey when he could have just brushed over it, highlighted it, and
There
then
you
kept
go.
it
Look
pushing.
at my brother Rozzy.
But instead of him just highlighting on it, he wanted to stay focused on it. He wanted to try to lock it in because like, okay, I got him talking about Garvey. Let me keep it here. And he just wanted to keep it there. And it's like, and he just kept going and going and going and going. Like the whole rest of the debate was about Garvey. And it's like, okay, I almost forgot what this debate topic was about. You know what I mean? Like this has little relevance about today, whether or not we should link up with Africans today. What does Garvey 100 years ago got to do with us linking up with Africa today?
Yeah. But you know what? That's what they do a lot over there. I noticed that people, when they get into these debates, they're always bringing. But it seems like we're always debating about the same guys, all the time. Garvey. I hear Umar Johnson talking about Garvey, Frederick Douglass, W.E.D. Du Bois, all these people. Right? It's over and over again. Dr. King, Malcolm X. One of the things that I thought that the Taz did well was trying to move the discussion to the here and now. I mean, we keep talking about Africa.
I didn't think he did a good job at that at all. I thought he got stuck in the past. I disagree. I think that was the whole point of me saying he got stuck on Garvey too long. He was too stuck in the past, and it turned into a huge ass debate about Garvey's history instead of whether or not we supposed to be linking up with Africa today, which is Jabari stayed on topic. Taz was the one that wanted to keep going back to Garvey and staying on Garvey.
You know what?
And everything else.
I was unclear about one thing. Break it down. What was this whole thing about these ships being in disrepair and all of that? Because if he did purchase ships and they was unrepairable, that is suspect. Well, unless he didn't know what he was doing when he purchased it.
I was just about to say one thing you'll never ever hear me say was Marcus Garvey was a good businessman. Marcus Garvey was a horrible businessman. Marcus Garvey should have did a better job delegating. And he was horrible at this. He tried to do everything himself. He kind of was Umar before Umar. He was trying to do everything by himself, and he tried to be the front runner of everything. And he just made bad decisions. He's guilty of making bad decisions. Yes, he is guilty of making bad decisions, business decisions. Yes, he shouldn't have brought those ships, but he knew nothing about ships, and he trusted somebody who he shouldn't have trusted. And he ended up getting, he ended up getting the backlash from it because it was his name. So ultimately, again, he should have did a better job delegating, and he was a horrible businessman. So I would never defend Garvey on that level. You know what I'm saying? Now what I do defend is I don't think his motives were malicious. I think he was a genuine dude. Now, what Taz tries to push is he was malicious and he never planned on doing X, Y, and Z, which don't make no sense because if he never planned on going to Africa, why would he buy them boats to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
Why buy the boats if you never planned? If you were just trying to scam everybody, you would have just never brought the boats. You just
but the boats. Yeah, but the boats were fucked up. So you buy the boats, do you have a crew that's gonna fix the boats, or even if the boats are even repairable?
He didn't know they was that fucked up that he even paid for. He didn't know they was that fucked up.
So he didn't have nobody going in and check nothing. It's kind of like when you go and buy a truck.
He trusted somebody. He trusted somebody who was supposed to know about boats, and they screwed him.
Oh, okay.
Because again, he knew nothing about boats. He just had a plan. He didn't know nothing about boats though. It's not his thing.
Okay, so he was serious about going to Africa. Liberia was the target place to go in Africa. I wonder, did he have people? Because he did make the statement that some black people, even here in America, they're no good over here, so they wouldn't be any good over there, which I agree with. Some motherfuckers just stay their ass right here. I wouldn't take certain niggas anywhere, but I wouldn't even go to the store with a couple of niggas, man. But so yeah, the whole Garvey thing is very interesting, man. I always wonder why people, but every time we have a debate, especially over in the conscious community, these guys always come up, man. Garvey, I can't tell you how many times I heard Garfield debate Marcus Garvey
against Abos, against Abos, because Abos are the only ones that talk shit about Garvey. Most people, most people are either indifferent on Garvey or love Garvey. The only people that hate Garvey are abos.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know much about. I heard about Garvey. Never really thought to even look him up.
Right, you was indifferent. You was indifferent.
I was a big.
You didn't love him, didn't hate him. You didn't love him, didn't hate him, didn't know too much about him.
Right. Now I will defend Malcolm X. Okay, you know, I think, you know, calling him all these names and shit, you know, I'm not gonna agree with that. I think X, when he really found out what was going on, when he came back, he did have a different mindset. And he did try to get black people together. He was about to start something for black people, but he was murdered before he can get it carried out. And he even had people from different nationalities wanted to donate to the organization that he was now building for black people. And he wanted to get black people right. Because one of the things he said that I thought was so powerful, he said, listen, whites can't join us, but you can help us. We can't first think about joining with other people until we first learn how to get along with ourselves. And I thought that was powerful. So he was about to build an organization with black people and try to get their heads right before he was murdered. So I disagree with what they say about Malcolm X. I'll back Malcolm X all day long.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's just more BS. Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I'm not going to say he was. I heard people say some real disparaging things about him. I heard people call him I even heard somebody. I heard a sister a while back. I think her name was China something.
China
the heavy-set light-skinned sister.
China Fox.
Yeah, from Chicago. Called him a homosexual, which I thought was out of line.
But she didn't call him that. She was quoting an article that had came out that was alleged that was making these accusations from the if I think it was on the LA Times. Yeah, so she took that article and she started running with it, but it was no evidence behind this. But it was just a claim that was made that was presented in the article, and she took it and just ran with it.
Right, and he was, and the man wasn't scamming. The man paid with his life, man. You know, I don't. You see, even Dr. King, right? I don't disrespect none of them. I may disagree with this and that.
Dr. King, I got issues with. I
but I wouldn't disrespect him because I wouldn't go. Listen, how many of us have the courage to do what they did back then? I mean, King marching the street, getting beat down, people spitting on him, high pressure water hose, and all that. Man, I couldn't. Man, fuck that. I'm not going through that. I'm getting shot or something. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm about to say if I would have did it, I would have been fighting. I'm not doing this whole non-violent shit. Yeah, that non-violent stuff. Nah, ain't nobody.
Fuck that. You ain't gonna just spit on me.
I don't believe in no non-violence.
Right. Yeah, you ain't just. I'm walking down the street and you gonna spit on me and kick. Man, fuck that, man. We gonna throw down right then and there, and that's probably gonna be the end of it for me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not doing that to me. So I got a lot of respect for him. The man had courage, man. We can disagree with what really his ideology was and what was the whole thing about. In the end, we can disagree, but I can't discount the man's courage because how many of us can do what he did or even attempt to do what he did? You know?
I can make the claim, but ain't nobody going to listen to me because it's that third. I believe I would have been out there in the front lines back in the 60s. I can't prove it because I can't.
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
But
but you wouldn't have been leading no nonviolent movement, not you.
I would have been more of a Panther. I definitely would have been.
Exactly. Wasn't gonna be no nonviolent.
No, not with me. No. I definitely would have been leaning more towards the Panthers.
Yeah. Fuck that. You ain't gonna be no nonviolent shit now. Now I'm gonna try to walk down the street, but you ain't gonna fuck with me like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I couldn't be with King walking down there and they saying whatever they do, don't non-violence, no matter what they do. I'll be, man, listen, I ain't marching it. I'm not marching. If you're telling me I can't have no violence, then I'm not marching. Let me ask you a question since you're kind of like an historian. Whatever happened to Carmichael? Did he just lose steam? Because I never heard. Yeah, man, because I never heard anybody either.
He's still doing. All Michael was still doing his thing. He changed his name. He got extra. He he left the Panthers because the Panthers was getting too much into that intersectionality stuff that he thought was problematic, and he was correct. He was actually correct. He was the smartest Panther out of the whole bunch because he saw the problems that was going to come if the Panthers kept doing this intersectionality thing, working with these feminists and the LGBTQ, all these white, trying to mess with white girls, trying to mess with white girls and all this other stuff.
I saw White Panthers. I saw white people was Panthers.
It was an organization, called the White Panthers. They didn't start until the 70s, but it was an organization called the White Panthers that started in the 70s and it was around to 1980. It was around.
No, I didn't know, man.
Yeah.
Do you know Bobby Seale's still alive?
Yeah. He's still alive.
He lives in Pennsylvania.
I didn't know he was living in Pennsylvania. That I didn't.
Yeah, he lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I thought he was in California.
I think he was teaching out there in Pennsylvania, and he just retired a long ago. But but Bobby Seale's still alive. I wonder why.
I knew he was still alive. To my knowledge, I knew he was still alive, but I didn't know he was in Pennsylvania.
Why is he staying out of the limelight though? Why come he ain't come back in and say anything about Obama?
He tried to go into politics and everything else, and this, that, and the third. You know, he was behind the scenes, like you said, doing speaking engagements and this, that, and everything. You know, he was still behind the scenes doing things. I mean, the black movement really wasn't what it was in the 80s and 90s and everything. So it really was, by then Negroes was kind of like just trying to fit in with society. It wasn't a whole lot of. It just, it was different, man. It was different. Like
we couldn't even get
it. American Negro was kind of like in full effect by like the 80s and 90s, man. And it's just,
what I think that's one of our problems right now. We're trying to start a movement based off of what they did back in the day. Everything is different now. You can't start that same kind of movement.
You take what still works. You can take when their movement what still works and update it. That's what you have to do. Because any new movement that's created ain't gonna be too much new under the sun. It might be just formatted a little bit different, but it ain't gonna be too much. It ain't gonna be nothing that hasn't been tried already before. Now, what you could do is we got all these ingredients, right? We got all these ingredients that happened all through the course of our history, throughout the struggle. Some things worked, some things didn't. So what we gotta do is look at all these ingredients, find out what works together, and then try to make up the perfect recipe to make all these ingredients work. Like, keep out the ingredients that didn't work, that was too sour, too bitter, whatever. Keep all that stuff out, and find the right formula. And that's pretty much all we gotta do, because everything's laid out there already. People always ask for solutions, well, the solution's already out there. I mean, I think it's just incorporating the solutions. That's all.
I do think we still gotta remain some kind of secrecy about it, because we're not the kind of Negroes that were back then, with King and all that. We're not scared Negroes like that. So there will be confrontations, and and there probably will be bloodshed. So I do think the movement. I think that's one of the reasons why people don't want to get together in these movements, because we're not those kind of Negroes anymore. So, and people don't want to lose their life. People don't want to lose what they got, and so we don't have a people today that's really
we don't even need to do all that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Right. I'm against all that marching, that BLM crap, and everything else. Those things always get hijacked by white liberals anyway. So I'm not into all that. What we need to do is smarten up, and we need to smarten up and come up with a plan within this system that can work, that can get us in a direction where we can remove ourselves from the system. Right now, we ain't in no position to remove ourselves from nothing. So we got to get smarter. And we gotta get more political savvy. People don't like to hear this, but this is what it is. We gotta get more politically savvy, and we gotta maneuver within this system as a unit, as a cohesive unit, as a whole voting block, in order to get certain things done. And once we get certain things done, once we get enough things done, and we get enough control politically, we can start making moves to a migration. And once we make moves to this migration, which to me would be the Southeast, I think that would be the best place to go. But once we make the migration to this certain spot, we flood all these states with all black people. Flood the fucking states. Flood them. No violence, no nothing. Just flood the states. Just move everybody.
I'm not against. Listen, man. I'm not against violence, man.
No,
I
no,
think that
no. I said
you see, I think that we sell ourselves short when we
right.
preach this nonviolent shit. We're not
No, I'm not
punks.
talking about. Yeah, I'm not talking about be
Yeah.
non-violent. I'm just saying don't be
Uh.
antagonistic. You don't have to be
Right.
antagonistic. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
initiate the violence. Is what I'm saying. I mean, of course, defend
Exactly.
yourself. Of course, defend yourself. That
Yeah,
goes
man.
without
Nobody
saying.
gonna sit
Yeah,
here and be no goddamn punching bag. I ain't turning no other cheek.
right,
Fuck that.
right.
And there's other thing. I think we need our own political party because I don't think black people, well, at least the black people that we got in Democratic Party, I don't think they have the guts to do what's needed. Like Cory Booker, all these other people. Now Cory Booker had a good track record coming out of Newark, right? But he kind of like, sailed to the back
That
of the
depends on who you
Democratic Party.
asking. Yeah, I'm about to say that depends on who you asking as far as the Newark thing. But yeah,
Right. Well, no, he did a lot of good things in Newark, right? He got the whole
Mm,
downtown.
that was Sharp James. That was Sharp James. He came in. Sharp James was the one who really did that. He came in and after Sharp. What happened was Sharp
I
James
seen
got
that.
locked up. Sharp James got locked up, and he came
That
in and
nigga.
swooped in. He came swooped in after Sharp James got locked up, and he finished what Sharp James had already started because Sharp James already had that stuff going when before Cory Booker got there. He was just there when everything got finished, but he didn't start that stuff, right? Like Sharp James that got up with that arena deal and all that stuff and everything else. That was all Sharp James.
I remember they was trying to interview that nigga. He ride the 10 speed around of the building.
Oh yeah, Sharp James something else, man. Sharp James something else. Don't get me started on Sharp James,
that
man.
Negro, man. But
That motherfucker was mayor for a long time out here.
yeah, Sharp was it. I know some of his peoples too, but yeah, Cory Booker. Okay, well, Cory Booker came in on the tail of Sharp James and got some things going. I know a lot of people in Newark that like what Cory Booker did. So he had a good track record coming out of Newark, but I thought he was going to be something. When he got up there with the big boys and girls, he just sailed to the back. What is he even doing there?
People weren't really messing with him like that. I mean, he's not going.
Yeah, he just like, dude, what are you doing? You're like the best representation we had coming out of Jersey.
He's against reparations. He's against reparations, so black people ain't going to mess with him. Black people fell off with him then. I mean, he's biracial too.
See,
he's biracial too, so people don't really trust him like that.
See, that was kind of like Glenn Cunningham too, right? When Glenn Cunningham got all of a sudden died of a heart attack. You know, he was like one of the best candidates we had in Jersey City.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he just suddenly died of a heart attack. You know, I don't understand that. But you see, my thing is we got to have some black people with some kahunas that's going to go up in that party and say, look, we're getting ready to take this thing over. Okay, you guys, all you coons, y'all get the hell on out of here. We need a non-coon party. If we can't turn it, if we can't turn the Democratic Party into what we want it to be, then we need to start our own party.
Not without controlling the whole voting block, and we don't have a control of a whole voting block. We all over the place politically. We got
to figure out how to get it. We got to figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
Then we got to figure out how to take it over. And that's got to be our
people
goal.
Out this intersectionality mindset we got. These Democrats got our people mind messed up, man. They think like it's disgusting. Some of the things I be hearing my people say, like when that whole Jewish thing happened with Whoopi Goldberg, it exposed how warped my motherfucking people minds are. I actually saw black people defending the Jews. I saw black people defending the Jews saying Whoopi was wrong. Whoopi don't know what she's talking about. Jewish
wrong
is a
about
race.
What? What did she actually say?
You don't know about what happened with that Whoopi Goldberg shit?
No, I haven't read up on it yet because I've been working a lot. I haven't been able to keep up with a lot of stuff because I've just been busy.
Whoopi said that the Holocaust. Whoopi said that the Holocaust wasn't about race. It was about man's inhumanity to man. She said it wasn't about race, and her this was on The View, and her fellow panelists was like, no, it was about race. What do you mean it wasn't about race? It was about white supremacy and everything else. She was like, it couldn't have been about race because it was white people doing things to other white people. It wasn't about race.
I agree.
It wasn't racism.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, well, you are one of the few. You and me are in the minority on that because they dropped the hammer on Whoopi. They dropped the hammer on Whoopi. And before saying that and told her how wrong she was and how Jewish.
How was she wrong? How was she wrong? She said it was about man. inhumanity to man. She's absolutely right on that. I don't understand how. What did she even say?
You're right. She didn't
say
deny the Holocaust. She didn't say it was a good thing or none of that other stuff. Whatever. She just said that it wasn't about racism because it was white people doing it to other white people. And their argument is she was insensitive. She's ignorant because she don't understand that Jew is a race and all this other stuff and blah 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 blah. So that turned into a hot topic. So the internet blew up.
Wait a minute, the Jew is a race?
Yeah, that's what they claim. Yes, they're claiming that the Holocaust was about racism.
Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't know Jew was a race. Huh?
No,
right,
okay. It's not.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's not. Whoopi was correct. Whoopi didn't say nothing wrong. But the only thing she did was open up a can of worms that they didn't want open. These Jews want to push a narrative that they some kind of different race than white people. So they can hold on to the chosen people philosophy and bullshit and everything else. So they need to separate themselves from regular white people.
I wonder if somebody told her to say that because black people got to stay away from the Jewish thing, because the Jews got to the point where you can't say anything about them.
Right.
Okay. And then, they got coons and they got their coon brigade, brigade that's going to make you look bad. I think black people really need to refrain from saying anything about Jews. Just leave it alone. Don't even go down that road because there's no win for you there. I wonder if somebody told her to say that.
No, ain't nobody told her to say it. She just said it. It was just in conversation, and she was right. Was she on
the air when she said? Was she on the air when she said that?
It was on air. They was having a conversation about something in it, and the Holocaust came up, and in the middle of the conversation, somebody had said something about the Holocaust being about racism, and she disagreed, and that's what she said. What she said.
No, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, I agree with it. It was humanity. It was man being inhumane to men. Yeah, I don't see the problem with. I don't even get it. Like, why are even the Jews upset?
Because she exposed the BS that's being pushed. There's a lot of BS out here. See, we're black, so we don't. We if you're not really paying attention, that should really slide under the radar. But it's a narrative being pushed out here by all white people, whether they Jewish or not, that somehow or another Jewish people is a different race of people than your average everyday white person out here. They different.
See, I think black people got to be more like Jews.
But black people, we know better. When we see a Jewish motherfucker, we see a white person.
Yeah.
We see a white person. We don't see a different race of motherfucker. We see a whole white person over there.
But I think we need to copy some of their practice. I think we should get it to the point where nobody can say shit about us either.
I mean, I don't really care if people say stuff about us. I don't even.
Think about it, man. You can't think about this. You can't say nothing about them.
Yeah, and I don't like that. You can't do that. I don't like that. I don't.
Yeah, if you say something about them, they coming after you. You losing jobs. You losing. They coming for you, bro.
Right. I agree, but I don't like that either, and I don't think it should be that way. But I don't think I think everybody should be allowed to say whatever they want to say about anybody. I don't like this whole idea that we can't talk about nobody and we can't say this and we gotta be censored with that and everything else. No, let people talk.
I'm not. Yeah, I know you said that before. I think we was about to start a conversation about that, and I got some pushback for you on that. I don't think that censorship should be 100%. No, I don't think censorship should be 100%. I don't think that people should be uncensored 100%. I don't think so because there are too many things that can be said that can have cataclysmic results.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like freedom of speech only protects you from the law, right? Like as far as like you can't get locked up for saying certain things, as long as it ain't something like you can't scream bomb in the airport, right? You can't do that,
right?
Like that. But for the most part, you're protected or whatever, right? As far as being locked up. Now you're not free from consequences, though, right? You're not free. Like something can still happen to you if you do say something, right? You say the wrong things can still happen to you. Like people think freedom of speech protects you from your job, or you know what I mean? Like I said, like no, it does not. It does not protect.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. It only protects you from certain things, but not from other things. Private institutions, it does not protect you, right? Like you can't just go to your job and just start cursing up a storm and cussing everybody out, and you'll fuck around and get fired, right? Like that freedom of speech shit ain't gonna protect you there. So, like freedom of speech has its limits, So like, and I don't think people should try to tweet. Like, so I get it when like Google got the right to censor people because it's a private company. So that's why I always tell people is you really can't bring up the freedom of speech thing when discussing censorship on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff, because freedom of speech don't apply there. Because again, that's their own company and everything. So but
see, where I draw the line is this here, right? I don't care if you want to be an asshole, that's fine. Okay, you want to come out here and cuss a few people out, call a few people names. I don't give a shit. But my problem is this: when your rhetoric starts to get focused on a particular group, and that rhetoric is hatred, or you're preaching harm, like the Ku Klux Klan used to do, right, to a particular race, that's where I draw. That's where we come down on you at, right. Because now you're influencing people.
What about people that attack Africa? You think they should get came down on?
Well, what do you mean about if you're saying, okay, if you're calling African people jigaboos, they got bones in their noses and stuff like that? No.
Okay, so
I don't give a shit about that.
Okay,
but if you saying kill Africans,
okay, so killing it, that's where it stops.
Right. So if you're saying that Africans should be harmed because you think they're jigaboo, I got a problem with that.
Okay. All right. So as long as you're not preaching harm, like harmful.
Right. Exactly. Okay. If you're just being an asshole, I don't even care about racist comments.
Yeah, me neither. I don't trip over that.
Yeah,
so I'd rather people show me who they are. Yeah, I'd rather them show me who they are anyway. So
exactly. I don't even give a fuck about race. I don't give a fuck if you don't raise a comment. My only problem is if you say I'm a moon cricket, that's one thing. But if you say I should be harmed because I'm a moon cricket, I got a problem with that. I got a serious problem with that. That's where I draw the line at. That's where I think the censorship should be. When you're preaching harm to other people, and the Ku Klux Klan got away with this for a long time. They finally got censored or whatever to some degree anyway. Okay, you still got white nationalists out here like, Richard Spencer and
well, they can't be out. They can't be out in the open with it anymore. They still here.
Yeah,
they just can't be out in the open with it.
What's the old white dude? The old ass white dude, Jared Taylor. Stuff like that. So no, you can't do that. Anymore. You can't come out here on the street like the Klan used to do back in the day. Have all these damn open rallies and shit talking about killing niggas in the North and all of that. Nah, you know what I'm saying? When you're doing stuff like that, even what's borderline here, even when we talk about, we look at the gender war, right? And what we're doing to each other. You got black women preaching, preaching hatred towards black men. You got black men preaching hatred towards black women. That should be censored. That should be censored because it's getting to the point now to where they're starting to wish harm on each other too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hearing dudes talking about, well, we need to kill some black women, and I'm hearing black women talking about we need to kill black male babies.
Yeah, which is disgusting. And it bugs me out that the mainstream gets marked as a hate group, but these women aren't. How aren't these women also marked as a hate group? I don't think you can mark one and not the other.
You see, that's fucked up because I say you see, in that aspect is equal damage, right? And so if you got a women's group talking about killing men or killing they need to be censored too. One is not different than the other.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Even people call me a simp and everything, right? Because I defend black women. But the women over here will tell you, I don't condone a woman coming over here and just outright talking crazy hatred against black men. I don't allow that to happen over here. We had a couple of women over here that tried that shit. We ran them out of here. Okay, just because we defend black women and we like that don't mean because you got your issues, you get to come over here and just straight hate on black men. We don't play that.
Right.
No, man, we don't allow that over here. You ain't gonna find a woman over here just outright talking crazy about black men. We don't condone that over here. And so No, I think that if the women are saying these kinds of things, they need to be censored too. Whatever group of women is saying it, they need to be censored too. Not just the men, censor the women too. You got to cut them both off. Don't just stop one and let the other one continue, because then you're defeating your purpose. No, shut them both down. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? Yeah. All right, Psycho, man, I'm going to shut it down, man. I got something to do.
I was just about to say, I got to get ready to make me something to eat. I am starving. So,
all right, man.
Let me get
Appreciate
ready to get
coming up.
Here. No doubt. I'll talk to you later, Mike.
All right, man. All right.
All right, one.
All right, y'all. Getting ready to shut it down for a minute here. Probably be back on later on tonight. I don't know. It depends. I'm going to go get something to eat, and call it, just sit back and chill out for a little while. All right, y'all? Peace, pal. Hey, Abby, you there? Let me see if my Abby. Okay, she's back. Abby. Uh-oh. You don't have any we don't have any sound, Abby. Hold on, let's wait till she get her sound back. So while she's getting her sound back, yeah, y'all, we was talking about it, the whole connection to Africa thing. Very interesting conversation. Okay, I'm just gonna end it. She's having, well, let me see. Abby, you there? All right, well, I'm just going to end it. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll probably be back later on. I don't know yet, but we might be back later on, okay? Talk to y'all later. Peace, power, and unity. Just see if I can get us out of here real quick.